I remember my 8th birthday at the KCC with that giant cake and Aunt Evie showing up on leave, surprising all of us. I remember Mom.
Hey guys, Kiwi here. In this video, I'll be breaking down and analyzing the opening minutes to Season 8, Episode 15 of The Walking Dead. With that being said, major warning of spoilers for everything in the show during Season 8, and let's jump right into this. Alright, so this is actually from the third sneak peek from the episode, which features the opening minutes, and it includes Carl's full letter to Rick. As of the end of Episode 8:14, Rick finally seemed like he was ready to open up and think about Carl, and in the beginning of Episode 15, we jump right into Rick finally reading the letter. Rick realized that senseless violence wasn't going to solve anything, so he looks to Carl for guidance. The letter starts with Carl reminiscing about fond memories of his 8th birthday, along with his pre-apocalypse life.
I remember school, and going to the movies, and Friday night pizza, and cartoons, and Grandma and Grandpa, and church, those summer barbecues, and the kiddie pool you got me. Could've used that at the prison.
It's really touching to think of Carl as a little kid again and actually imagine life as it once was. He mentions how he wishes that he had his kiddie pool at the prison, which was a nice touch as well. Carl brings up good memories of walks that he would take with Rick when they were young, along with everything that he can recall of it. We'll get back to why he's bringing up all these fond memories by the end of the sneak peek, but for now it's acting as a great subtle build-up.
You told me about the walks we'd take when I was 3. You holding my hand around the neighborhood all the way to Ross's farm. I didn't know that I remembered them, but I do. Because I see the sun and the corn and that cow that walked up to the fence and looked me in the eye. And you told me about all that stuff, but it isn't just that stuff, it's how I felt.
Carl says how happy, special, and safe he felt in those moments, and that making your loved ones feel that way is truly what life is about. Carl mentions that although you should try and keep the people you love safe for as long as you can, sometimes things happen that are out of your control. Yes, the zombie apocalypse is pretty damn crazy, but things happen before the apocalypse as well, such as Rick getting shot. Carl getting bitten is another one of those things happening out of Rick's control, so he shouldn't beat himself up for it too much. That's not what Carl would have wanted. Carl would have wanted Rick to move forward with a positive mindset, as difficult as that may be.
Holding your hand, I felt happy and special, and I felt safe. I thought growing up was about getting a job and maybe a family, being an adult, but growing up is making yourself and the people you love safe. As safe as you can, because things happen.
Carl says that he'd give about anything to make Rick feel safe and happy, just like Carl did during those moments that he was recalling. That's a very difficult thing to ask for right now. This letter is just so touching, and I wish that it could go on forever. It just reminds me how much it sucks that we won't have Chandler Riggs on the show anymore to play as Carl, at least not regularly. We may see him in a dream sequence or something, but only as long as it's not forced, because that doesn't really feel necessary. I really do enjoy this letter, and I would probably prefer it over a dream sequence if I had to choose between the two.
Things happen. They happened before. You were shot before things went bad. Kind of felt like things went bad because you were shot. I want to make you feel safe, Dad. I want you to feel just like I felt when you held my hand. Just to feel that way for 5 minutes. I'd give anything to make you feel that way now.
Now, it must be so difficult for Carl to fit his final thoughts to Rick all in one letter, but it seems like he's done a pretty effective job. Carl didn't just write this letter to say goodbye, he wrote it to truly mean something. There could have been an infinite amount of things that he could have said, and it's such a responsible, caring, and mature mindset to give Rick his final thoughts like this while talking to him in a way that he'll hopefully understand. Carl transitions into how he wanted to kill Negan, along with how he doesn't think that the saviors will surrender, but Rick has to give them a way out. Carl wants all the communities to grow together and live fruitful lives where everyone cooperates in order to successfully allow humanity to return as civilization continues to take baby steps into evolving back to what it once was.
I wanted to kill Negan. I wish I did. Maybe it would have been done. I don't think it's done now. He went out there again, but I don't think they surrendered. I don't think they will surrender. There are workers in there, Dad. They're just regular people. Old people, young people, families. You don't want them to die, Dad.
Relating back to Carl's original message on his deathbed in episode 809, Carl wants them to find a way to move forward together. He doesn't want anyone to unnecessarily die, such as the factory workers or even the saviors who can have a change of heart, such as Aiden for example. Carl seems to be worried that Rick will get too worked up and carried away with killing them all and wiping them out, that he'll completely lose sight of what he was fighting for. There has to be something to live for after, and you have to be able to live with yourself. I wonder how guilty Rick may or may not feel for killing all those saviors in episode 814. Will he go and apologize to Aiden for being unable to trust them and bring them back? I'd like to see some sort of scene between Rick and Aiden where Rick honestly breaks down and apologizes, but that's just me. It'd be a great way to show that Rick realizes that what he did was wrong, because at this point Rick needs some sort of redemption in my eyes.
We're so close to starting everything over, and we have friends now. It's that bigger world Jesus talked about. The kingdom, the hilltop, there's gotta be more places. More people out there, a chance for everything to change and keep changing. Everyone giving everyone the opportunity to have a life. A real life.
Carl has seen how brutal Rick can get back during their adventures on the road during seasons 4 and 5 before they got to Alexandria. It seems like history is repeating itself. Although things are slightly different this time, Rick is definitely getting a little bit too kill happy now that he's fully rebelling against Negan. His original goal was to just rise up and fight for freedom for everyone, but now he's gotten into this vicious mindset where he just needs to take them all out. Rick is ignoring the death of his son by creating even more death and violence, which is a very dangerous thing to do.
So if they won't end it, you have to. You have to give them a way out. You have to find peace with Negan. Find a way forward somehow.
Morgan is a heavy warning to Rick of what he could become if he doesn't properly deal with the death of his son. Morgan's unstable mindset begun with the death of Dwayne, and again, history seemed to repeat itself with Morgan snapping again since Benjamin's death near the end of season 7. Rick needs to process Carl's death instead of ignoring it, so thank God he has people like Michonne to help steer him in this direction. Michonne has been down this path before, separating herself from humanity due to losing her child, but Andrea pulled her back into who she was, and now Michonne is trying to help Rick in that same way.
We don't have to forget what happened, but you can make it so that it won't happen again. That nobody has to live this way, that every life is worth something. Start everything over. Show everyone that they can be safe again without killing, that it can feel safe again, that it can go back to being birthdays and school and jobs and even Friday night pizza somehow.
Anyways, back to Carl's letter. He wants Rick to finish this war and re-establish civilization afterwards. That's a lot to ask for, but I do believe that Rick and Maggie can work together and put everyone on the correct path to actually accomplish it. Carl is pretty much just wanting everyone to live happily ever after, as shown in his visions of the future. We know that that's not completely possible, but hopefully Rick can try and make that as close to a reality as he can. Carl is doing and saying everything that he can to try and push Rick in the correct direction, along with hopefully teaching him to be a little bit more self-aware.
And walks with a dad and a 3-year-old holding hands. Make that come back, Dad. And go on those walks with Judith. She'll remember them. I love you, Carl.
The ironic thing about Rick taking so long to read Carl's letter is that Rick has been unintentionally doing exactly what Carl doesn't want him to. Rick has been trying to ignore Carl's death and distract himself with whatever he can. Whether it's to actually take out Negan, or if it's just pure hatred towards the saviors, Rick was putting his attention in the wrong places, and I'm glad that he's finally starting to turn around. To conclude Carl's letter, he circles everything back to the beginning of his letter. He wants Rick to show everyone that they can get by without killing and murdering all of their problems. Carl wants them to become civil people again and allow everyone to live normal lives. Carl mentions wanting to bring back school and work and Friday night pizzas, and although that is an exaggerated example, it's still a proper goal to work towards. That idea that Carl is trying to portray will hopefully stick with Rick for seasons to come as he concludes this war and moves forward for everyone, including himself. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, but that's pretty much it for the video, guys. I'd appreciate a like on the video if you've enjoyed anything I've said today, as it really helps me out more than you can imagine. Subscribe for more Walking Dead Season 8 content in the near future, and if you'd like to take that extra step in helping support my videos, consider checking out my Patreon, where there's a bunch of different rewards involving the channel, such as getting your name shown at the end of all my videos, along with the possibility to directly influence my future videos being produced. As always, I thank you all so much for watching, and until next time, I'll talk to you guys later. Peace out!